battle cruiser as an ambassadorial transport? Can't say I blame the Chickonians for coming all tooled up, what with Concordance Station being on the United Earth side of the buffer region.
All the same, Doctor WHeasel, I'd rather not end up on the receiving end of those nasty-looking weapons if we could avoid it.
Yes, Advick, I would agree. All that ordnance and the claws of what looked like a cross between a giant chicken and a 6-foot parakeet. Oh, makes my hair stand on end.
Probably best you didn't tell the Chickonians that, Brigade Helen. It might not be the most politic foundation with which we open our negotiations.
Yeah, let's at least try to open a dialogue before giving them an excuse to shoot us all. Now, shh, I need to do my thing. High Ambassador Pollywannacracker. I greet you on behalf of the United Earth Confederation. I am the venerable Ambassador Doctor WHeasel, and this is my military advisor, Brigade Leader Archway Badger. I hope our talks will be fruitful and not at all nutty.
As do I, Venerable Ambassador. May I introduce my military advisor, Swinglord Chirpington, and my personal aide, Lieutenant Advick Goose.
A pleasure to meet you all. I'm sure this will be the most interesting.
Another Advick Goose? Who works for the Chickonians? And he looks exactly like my Advick.
Plus, and you might have missed this, Doctor, he's got precisely the same name, too.
I always knew you were up to something behind my back, Advick, and now I've got proof.
It is the 28th century. Aboard Space Station Concordance, Doctor WHeasel has been appointed the United Earth Ambassador to the belligerent, tall, and sentient avians who rule the Chickonian Empire. Can peace talks possibly get off on the right foot, or claw, or will there be a declaration of war before bedtime? Plus, will the vacationing brigade leader ever be able to explain to his wife anything that's happened to him in the last few days? In Doctor WHeasel and the Fowl Legerdemain, Part 3!
This is clearly a case of mistaken identity. No. You're flipping right, Doctor WHeasel. He looks absolutely the same as me. Right down to his fashionable sandals.
I've always wondered about those. Not practical footwear for cosmic adventuring, if you ask me.
Hardly the most practical footwear for walking across Ipswich town centre, either.
None of which matters. What does is those Chickonians have somehow duplicated me.
Venerable Ambassador Weasel, is there a problem? Although the likeness between my aide and your companion is striking, I was not aware avian forms like my people were common among the sentient beings of the Earth Confederation.
Perhaps, gentle beings, I could explain. Explain? I'd like to hear you flipping try, you doppelgoose. You see, myself and your Advick are essentially, from a certain perspective, the same being.
I flaming always knew one day the Goose would sell me out to the Voganians, the Quagargians, or the Flip-Dandoodles, but never in all my loomed days could I believe he'd go over to the Chickonians.
Why ever is that, Doctor? Is it because, after all of this time, and all these adventures you've been on together, he's become your very best friend and most trusted companion?
No, largely it's because I thought he would have been accidentally killed off long before I got the chance to mutiny. Isn't there anything in the entity personnel rules we can charge him with?
Please, venerated Ambassador WHeasel. I mean, we are genetically duplicates. You see, many Terran years ago, the malign artificial intelligence of the orbiting Relaxo Cabins Resort created a bizarre, imperfect duplicate of Advick Goose as part of its adult schemes.
Relaxo Cabins? Oh, now there's an adventure I tried to blank from my memory.
I know how you mean, Doctor. I try to pretend it never happened. Wait a moment. Didn't we send that phony Goose to Entity's cryovault after you got back to Earth?
You are correct, Brigade Leader. However, due to a series of inconceivably improbable coincidences, of which I'll spare you the details, this other Advick Goose was eventually revived and used as an organic test subject aboard the last of the 21st century's deep space probes, where eventually he drifted into the Chickonian Empire's space and was rescued.
After we finished debriefing and rehabilitating him, with his expertise in Terran affairs, we realized he'd be superbly well-informed special advisor to the High Ambassador.
Splendid! That clears all that up then. High Ambassador, shall we retire to the debating chambers and get on with our diplomatic chinwag? Beak wag. Oh, sorry.
Close it up! I know a little tosh when I hear it. Mark my words, this ersatz Advick is as dissimilar to me as that fellow over there with the 3 heads. Perhaps, on an including progenitor, you and I could talk about this matter over a nice cup of tea.
Tea! Yes, he's nothing like you at all. Hey, Advick.
High Ambassador, Brigade Leader, Swing Lord Chirpington, here's to a swift and mutually agreeable conclusion to our talks.
You will find no disagreement on that goal from me, Venerable Ambassador WHeasel.
Please, call me the Doctor. It'll save everyone's time and tonsils. Assuming you'll not have tonsils, I never had that clear in avian form physiology. Okay, so what's on the diplomatic docket for today, then?
There are 3 issues these talks must urgently address, Doctor, if we are to diminish the possibility of conflict. Firstly, the build-up of UEC forces in your Sagittarius sector.
Funny you should mention that, as it's on my agenda to bring up from the other side of the space fence.
Secondly, the illicit deployment of the necrovirus on our border worlds has given us grave concerns about the Confederation's adherence to the Spectre Accords.
Necrovirus? Are you saying the Earth Confederation is conducting biological warfare?
I suspect opinions may differ, Alan, but that's a matter for later. Please continue, High Ambassador. You said there were 3 points?
Our final concern is the abhorrent continued operation of Jeffrey's fried chicken throughout your Confederation.
Your people are willing to go to war over a galactic fried chicken franchise?
If our people operated food outlets specializing in deep-fried primates, would you not recognize it for the cultural macroaggression it plainly was?
Oh, Lord, this is not going to be one of those times where everyone nags me about going vegan again, is it?
I only said you might like to try some kale burgers for a change. Don't make a federal case out of it.
Thank you, High Ambassador. Now, addressing your concerns in order, the UEC's forces are present to counter the Chickonian Empire's own fleets across the treaty-designated border.
As I expected you would say. However, we shall review the sector scans and see if they tell us a different story about whose fleet was deployed first.
Now, I do concede the purported use of the necrovirus is concerning, but I have first-hand experience it was first deployed on Jeffrey's world by Chickonian agents, so I suspect you've only your own poor biosecurity procedures to blame here.
High Ambassador! We are not going to perch here and listen to this mammal's slanderous lies. Permit me to transmit the invasion order to the First Fleet.
Well, steady on, old bird. We're here to talk through our differences and avoid that sort of potential carnage. Speaking one old soldier to another, wouldn't it be better that way?
Well said, Alan. I really must bring you along as a companion more often. You're far more used than the Goose in these sort of circumstances.
Warrior to warrior, Brigade Leader, would you not prefer the honest clash of atomic rays and neutron torpedoes to this idle twittering?
Swing Lord, remember who speaks in the Emperor's name here.
Perhaps, High Ambassador, we might call a brief recess to allow tempers to cool.
I concur, Doctor, but first I must hear your response to our final issue.
Oh, the fried chicken thingy. Yeah, I can see why that might pee you off. Look, I can't promise overnight action, but I'll speak to my people and I'll see if they might, I don't know, switch production to deep-fried elephants or something more culturally sensitive to our Chickonian friends.
Deep-fried elephants?
Shh, Alan. Don't make me call the Goose back off the substitutes bench.
Venerable Ambassador Doctor, this has been a mildly encouraging start. We shall meet again after the first meal tomorrow's cycle.
Well, that broke off faster than I thought it would, although there was considerably less shouting than I expected. Negotiations at this level take time, clone progenitor. Perhaps in this brief period of recess, we should take the opportunity to get to know one another better in less formal surroundings. I am sure there are many questions between us we could address. I guess that would be okay. Anyway, the Doctor's ego will be raging now. He's got the fate of the quadrant in his paws, so maybe avoiding him for a bit will do wonders for my nerves. Come on, other me. There's a great space bar a couple of levels down. Resplendent, Advick. I shall join you there in a few moments. Mine's a litre of sparkling orange cider, but I guess you already knew that. Lieutenant Advick to Chirpington. The operation is proceeding as planned. I will contact you once I have replaced the obstacle.
What nefarious plans do the Chickonians have for Advick and the Doctor? Will the peace talk be brought to a grinding halt, a calamitous end, or is there yet a faint hope of reconciliation among the stars? Find out who lives, who dies, and if fried chicken is off the menu across the cosmos forever in next time's conclusion to Doctor WHeasel and the Fowl Legerdemain.
Doctor WHeasel is a Weasel Teleaudio Enterprises production, starring Randolph Weaseling as Doctor WHeasel, Cunton Goose as Advick Goose, and featuring John Gathercole as the Brigade Leader, Simon Hart as High Ambassador Pollywannacracker, and Giles Crumpton Howe as Swing Lord Chirpington.